But since we're talking to what dealing rooms are going through as well, or right up, how are they figuring out the trade? Let's get in my colleague Mahima, who's in conversation with Prabhudas Lilladher's Amisha Vora. Mahima.
Right, Neeraj. So as you rightly mentioned, I'm in the dealing room of Prabhudas Lilladher and speaking to Amisha Vora, who's the Managing Director and Chairperson at Prabhudas Lilladher. My first question to you, Amisha, would be that what are the kind of sentiments that you're observing amongst your clients right now, and what is the situation in the dealing room?
Definitely is a complete upset, and anyways people were expecting that pre-exit poll also, that maybe not 400 par but 330, 335 or BJP 275 was a given, but they were factoring in a bit of a risk. Exit poll reduced that risk also, and a lot of FI or domestic who had their positions, they recovered just yesterday. And now this seems like a real upset, and all that which we were thinking is somewhere not going right, maybe what happened in Maharashtra, maybe what happened in Karnataka, but we were overlooking, but it is really biting. And the worst part is that people of India are giving mandate for a coalition. They're not worried about that coalition and long-term outcome, but they're more worried about the incentives which are declared. So this is still the broader state of what we as people collectively are thinking.
Right.
And those who are thinking of only disciplined growth, discipline in terms of fiscal deficits, or interest rate and inflation are still maybe in minority.
Right, absolutely. So, Amisha, my next question to you is now, going forward, where do you see the values? Do you see it in large caps, or do you still see value in small and mid caps? I mean, seeing today's fall.
See, it's like this. Next, I think till the time the ministry is formed, will continue to be little volatile. And if after today's debacle, we still pass the test at the end of the day, say about 260, 265 for BJP, which is a 15-20 seats here and there, then things will be much different. And so next few days will still continue to be the focus on how the government is being formed, who with whose support, and then who's the Prime Minister candidate. So we cannot forget that right now, entire India has a lot of premium inbuilt of Mr. Modi. That is very critical, and this time we were also building in the premium for his complete supremacy in terms of taking reforms further. So when these two premiums have to zero down, that's what the market will first chop off. Going forward, I still believe that the broader cycle, if we fast forward 2 months, the broader cycle of interest rates in US coming down, equally in India coming down, will start. So not necessarily the distinction would remain between large cap and mid cap. It will continue to come back to growth. But in the meantime, the valuations will adjust for, if needed, for these two premiums which is built in.
Right. And, I really want to know that what will be your top sectoral bets, seeing how the markets are shaping up right now?
Look, it would be little, I would say, too early. But some of the categories or sectors or trends which are very, very perennial and long-term, I think that for buying them this is a golden opportunity. For example, hospitals and healthcare. That trend in India, because of under-penetration, because of young demography, because of rising income and rising awareness about the health and so on. So that entire hospital segment will continue to fare really well. This is not dependent on any broader other actions. Similarly, your, my and large India's data usage is not going to get disturbed, who's really ruling. But also the fact that the data growth is growing, We are one of the cheapest country in terms of cost for data, and the way forward is only rising. So that entire telecom pack is still the right position, even if I take a middle path. But if I take the path that which we were earlier envisaging, the 2 years of 7% growth, and then we work harder to achieve that 8.5. In case that dream, I think, is a bit shattered. So when the valuations get adjusted again, banking will be good, because health of the economy in terms of macro discipline, fiscal deficit, corporate balance sheet, retail balance sheet is all very good. So financials will also come, but with a little leg back into action. But I am not still thinking that because IT is not in any portfolio, so I go and see. Ultimately, you can hedge in non-growth or low-growth sectors, but you can make money only in high-growth sectors.
Well, that's Amisha talking about how she feels about the market. Still very constructive, and I think that's unanimous. While the markets have taken it to the chin and you are probably getting nervous,